Welcome back to TransGuyReacts, where I make videos about women's basketball, collegiate or professional. And today I'm talking about the WNBA games for Saturday, June 22nd. So let's get into it. There were three games today. Two of them were on at the same time, which was highly annoying. One was the Wings versus the Mystics, and the other was the Sparks versus the Liberty. But the Sparks versus Liberty game was on ESPN. So Ryan Bruco and Rebecca Lobo were calling that game, of course, as they do, and Holly Rowe as well. But both games were pretty competitive to start, actually. Sparks gave Liberty a run for their money in the beginning of the game, getting the lead, but Liberty were able to take the lead back by the end of the first half. Mystics really dominated the first half against the Wings and held them to a low score of 34 points at the half. Crazy. And the Mystics at that point had 51 points. Unfortunately, due to Cameron Brink's ACL tear, the Sparks signed Queen Egbo yesterday. So they had to, she got signed yesterday, and then today they had to fly out her jersey by itself to here to the game in New York, which is kind of crazy. And they didn't have a jersey for her. They had to use Carly Lou Samuelson's old jersey, and they just put a white sticker over her name. It's so ridiculous. But hey, gotta be ready. That's kind of wild, but it's things move fast in the W. It's a short season, and there's a lot of games, and people are players are basically transactions, and it's transactional stuff going on. So things move really quickly. Also out for the Los Angeles Sparks is Lexi Brown. For this game, I'm assuming she had a Crohn's flare up because she has Crohn's disease, so she's probably dealing with that. And then on the New York Liberty side, Benijah Laney Hamilton was out. She injured her foot or her knee, something like that, so she's been out for the past couple of games. And Courtney Vandersloot was still out because her mom passed away the other day, so she's still obviously going through mourning of that. It's really fresh. I don't know. I highly doubt she's going to come back anytime soon. I would imagine she would come back after the Olympic break, so she has some time to grieve and get through that, and then come back. So we'll see how that goes for her. All the good vibes to her family and things like that. At the halftime, I did for the Liberty versus the Sparks game. I did appreciate that they had a halftime coverage with LaChina Robinson, Monica McNutt, and Carolyn Peck because they are vets in this coverage. They've been covering the games for years, and they have really good context. And I love their talking. I love seeing beautiful shades of brown always. Ari McDonald and we got back into the game, and then Ari McDonald and Brianna Stewart got into it for a second. Had to be separated, which I thought was really funny because just the height differential of that is just hilarious. Ari is one of the shortest people in the league, and Brianna Stewart is one of the tallest. So I just think that's funny. Also, Kayla Thornton of the Liberty was playing a lot of bully ball, and she was pushing Rakia Jackson all over the court, making her fall down and all this stuff, and the refs never saw it. So sneaky. But hey, she was doing what she had to do. But Liberty started shooting lights out in the third quarter, and I was like, ooh, Sparks, tried to do what they could, but it was just that third quarter was rough. For the Washington Mystics, unfortunately, Shakira Austin, Brittany Sykes, and Aaliyah Edwards apparently is injured. So they were out for this game, and but the Mystics were playing, as well as really well. It's kind of impressive considering those three people were out. And they pretty much dominated the Wings the entire game. But, on the Wings' defense, the Wings were missing Maddie Segrist with that broken thumb. Satu Sabali still out, and Jalen Brown is out. So, they were down three players. So was the Mystics, but they were able to figure it out. Eric Nepo Baby Tebow figured it out. In the fourth quarter, the Sparks tried their best to get the lead down, and they did get it down to 10-point difference, but with Waziah, Cook, and Ray Burrell's efforts, but it just wasn't enough. They just couldn't handle it. One thing to note, though, I think it was Pride Night. Ellie the elephant. Their mascot had a sparkly gay flag bow in their hair. It was really cute. I love Ellie the elephant. She's so cool. So let's look at these box scores for those first two games. So the Mystics did win that game 97-69. That was a huge win for them. Like I said, they were dominant the entire game. For the Dallas Wings, JC Sheldon had a good night. She had 16 points. Natasha Howard had 19 points, 6 rebounds. And Kalani Brown had a good night. She had 13 points. But that was pretty much it. Everybody else was in single digits. Even Enrique Gumboale only had 6 points. 6 points and 7 rebounds. She also had 5 personal fouls, so she was in some foul trouble, and they locked her down. Washington Mystics. On the other hand, Carly Samuelson had 17 points, really great. Stephanie Dolson had a double double, 16 points, 10 rebounds, amazing. Emily Inksler went off. I was very surprised. Glad to see she had 23 points, 9 rebounds, and Jade Melbourne had 13 points. So just a lot. Oh, and Shatori Walker Kemple had 9 points. So just a lot of more players in double figures, and that's gonna win the game. For the Los Angeles Sparks versus New York Liberty, New York won 98-88. So it wasn't crazy blowout. It was a pretty respectable score. For the Los Angeles Sparks, Dearica Hamby, of course, had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals. Kia Nurse had 12 points. Ray Burrell had 9 points. Stephanie Talbot had 11 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds. Almost, getting close to that triple-double. Zaya Cook had 14 points. She was playing really well. And Lee Euro had 8 points. And Rakia Jackson only had 7 points. So, just like not enough, obviously. And then the Liberty was doing Liberty things. Kayla Thornton had 20 points. Standout performance for her, 6 rebounds. Brianna Stewart had 33 points and 7 assists. What? And 3 steals. Oh, and she had 6 blocks. Her score is just crazy. Just a phenomenal performance from Brianna Stewart. Jonquel Jones had a great night, double-double, 14 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. Wild. And Sabrina Ionescu had 24 points and 9 assists. Almost had a double-double. And 6 rebounds, too. So it was just, those core players doing really well and stepping up and were able to dominate this game. Going back to the third game of the day, it started in the evening. It was the Mercury versus the Lynx. The Lynx pretty much dominated from the start with great defense. They held the Mercury to 25 points at the end of the half. Crazy. It was Pride Night, so for the Lynx, so the halftime performance was 4 drag queens dancing on the court. Great. The Mercury were able to get the lead down to 9 points in the fourth quarter, but Lynx warred back as they do and pushed the lead up to 19 points. I think even 20-something points at one point. And then in the fourth quarter, they did cut to Prow, the mascot, and Prow had changed into this full rainbow striped suit. It was pretty cool, and it was funny because the pants were capris. It was pretty crazy. So Pete gay, very, very gay, and also they had a striped rainbow headband to match, so love that. For that game, the Lynx won 73-60. Let's look at the box score here. So for the Mercury, Collier Copper had a kind of a quiet night with 9 points, but she did have like 2 steals. Rebecca Allen had 11 points, 6 rebounds. Brittany Griner had 10 points, 7 rebounds. Natasha Cloud had 14 points, 5 assists. Diana Taurasi had a quiet night. She only had 7 points, 4 assists, so just wasn't enough on that end. The Lynx, Nafisa Collier had 23 points, 14 rebounds. Wild. Alana Smith had 14 points, 5 assists, and 2 blocks. Kayla McBride only had 9 points, kind of a quiet night for her. Courtney Williams had 12 points, 9 rebounds. So just a little bit more shooting, and that's why they won by 13 points. So it was a pretty good game all around. The games were good today. I would say the most entertaining game probably was the Los Angeles Sparks versus the New York Liberty, but the Mercury versus Lynx game was pretty good too. I can't complain about that game. But yeah, if you like this kind of coverage, thanks for watching. I make these videos almost every day. You can like, share, and subscribe, help grow the channel. But I do not have my comment section on because I don't care about random people on the internet, what their opinions are of me. So comment section will always be off, but I do appreciate the people who show up here every day. You're the best. Thank you. See y'all in the next one.